What's up, guys? I'm Devin Zander here with my co-host
Clayton Johnson.
and we are the motherfucking
Rowdy Boys.
Yes, we are, guys. Today we have a special guest, Chris Wright. Chris, how you doing? I'll give you an intro, but I want to say, Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's late here. It's sunny here. There's no complaints. It's all good.
And where are you? Where are you located again? The UK?
Yeah, UK is a Cornwall, which is like kind of like Florida in that it hangs off the rest of the UK. Kind of just chilling out there. Pretty south, nice beaches, a bit better weather.
I've never heard anyone compare Florida to the UK before. I'm slightly offended, but it's okay. I'm just kidding.
No, it's all good. Everyone has heard of London, and that's it. So I don't expect anything.
I've only been to Manchester, which I hear is nothing like the rest of the UK. I don't know. But real quick, guys, so just so you guys know, over the last 9 years, Chris here has been behind a lot of the most successful sales letters, video funnels, and direct response copywriting that you've been seeing on the internet and, of course, on Clickbank. So just one of his promotions did over $20 million. He's written #1 offers on Clickbank and now works with 7- and 8-figure direct response businesses to grow their community and optimize or continually optimize their copy. Sorry, fucked it up a little bit. But you know what, guys? Point is I'm not the expert. Chris is, and he's here to drop some fucking awesome shit for us. Clayton, I think you got a lot of shit that we could get started with. So, man, what's up? Take it away.
Dude, we were just chatting before, and like I feel like there's probably so much to talk about. So let's just start off with like I'm really curious about your business model that you were talking about. There's a lot of people that sell copywriting, but there's a lot of problems with the way it's traditionally sold. Sometimes you pay a lot of money and you don't know what you're going to get out of it, but you have a different, interesting model and how you're doing it, and how you're telling me a little bit about how you think I think this probably is the way that copywriting should be sold, because you're a guy that has run big offers and pulled big numbers. And so you know what it takes to actually get it there. So dude, can you tell us, what is like your business model and how does that work?
Yeah, man. So the place to start is really maybe to rewind like a year before that. So I just got into kind of offer ownership, and I was writing my own offers. And part of that is that there's only one of me to write all the copy, and I need to hire people. And you go out there into the world and you try to hire people, and you have should we say, mixed bag of experiences as you go out and do that. And I realized that aside from the offer ownership side, where like every problem comes up at 5 p.m. on a Friday night, and dealing with customer service and all that stuff, which I didn't like, I also didn't like having to hire copywriters. It was just a difficulty. There's constant problems. And so, I thought, why is that? Like, why can't people hit deadlines? Why, I've since had a client explain it as pay and pray, basically. Like you pay and pray you get either the copy delivered, or it comes on time, or they stick around and optimize after. I quite liked it. It did summarize it quite nicely. And through that experience, I was like, hey man, well, you don't really enjoy everything that isn't copy and marketing and, creative stuff. At the same time, there's clearly a massive gap in the market for copywriting done right. So go and do it. And the result of that is your conversion partners. And I say the name not to plug myself here, but to focus on that keyword partners, because I really think that every copywriter or copywriting group, I like to call ourselves a copy shop, should focus on basically being a partner, being an advocate for the people that we work with. So there's nothing revolutionary in my revolutionary model. It's just when we have a royalty, we stick around, like we fulfill the terms of that royalty, which is to help optimize, help push, a funnel or whatever as far as it can go. And the benefit there, obviously, is not just you, the client, getting the best result possible, but we earn the most money because we get paid on that royalty.
Yeah, dude, I love that. Because like it's that pay and pray thing. I think it probably ends up biting a lot of people in the ass, But there's so much that you can do in the course of an offer to dramatically improve it. So, I mean, you mentioned you had like a $20 million promo. So that definitely wasn't a launch it day one and it works perfectly. I'm sure that took like a lot of work. So like, what is the kind of process that you guys do to get the offers like maximally optimized? Or like, what would you do if you launched an offer and, it didn't work or it just worked okay? Like, what do you guys do over the course to dramatically improve it?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, like it starts with the building blocks. So again, looking at the model that we work on, we do the same kind of similar to what they do in Hollywood, the writer's room, where I don't know if you've heard Aaron Sorkin or whoever talk about it before, but there's always like at least three writers working on a promo. It doesn't mean like we're all writing at the same time, because that would just be a hot mess and, you know, go everywhere. But it means that good ideas are like refined and made better. Bad ideas are put to one side. Blind spots are checked. And so that then the promo goes out, and then what do we do? So first of all, we always deliver with 3 headlines, because I think it's an absolute sin of this world to not be testing every bit of traffic that comes through. I think there's always juice to squeeze, and headlines are like the easiest test to implement when you're just getting started, and then you get that data. And we're always very data driven. I think a lot of business owners make the mistake of being a bit kind of gut
driven.
Yeah, like, you know, just having a good idea in the shower and going with that. And then you waste time, you waste resources, especially if you're doing like email drop traffic, right? Where it's 2.5K is probably the minimum you're spending for a drop, you know, up to 12.5K, even bigger. So yeah, we keep testing, and then it's just like following the data. What's the data telling us? Is it conversions? Is it average order value? Is average order value good, but like your second upsell bombs? So therefore, if you fix that, your average order value could just skyrocket. It's all those kind of things, and then it's putting the puzzle together. And I think that's where the fun comes in, as you guys know, with, you know, what's the right puzzle piece to put there.
Yeah, so you're essentially just looking for the biggest levers, right? So what is the place where I can go in where if I could make the smallest change or whatever, it's going to make the biggest improvement, right? So if you're seeing the AOVs down, you're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if we get, the front end acquisition's fine. It's the fucking AOV that sucks, right? So that's what you're looking at essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It's always those biggest levers. And then eventually you get to this weird space where you pull all the biggest levers, and nothing that you've got is beating, nothing is fatiguing in that point. And then that's where you can get a bit funky, in my opinion. I've had upsells where I've literally written something like, I'll go broke for giving you this discount, just something like absolutely crazy that you wouldn't otherwise put in there. And because you never know what's going to win. You never know. You've got best practices, you've got experience, but sometimes the wackiest stuff is what works.
So when you're looking at the offer, or in terms of like conversion points, what are the first things that you kind of look at? Are you looking at like, all right, so our landing page should have this conversion rate, our upsell one should be like this, and you look at which ones are not converting at those rates and then attack them like that? Or what is the kind of process that you look through?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of it stems from the offer itself and the market it sits in, because I've had offers fatigue over, you know, years, and maybe their conversion rate is sub 1%, but that offer is still highly profitable. This is like a supplement funnel, purely because the AOV is super high. So, you know, it depends on that. But right away, you want conversions to be solid. And so the biggest needle movers are always the headlines, and then followed by the lead. If you can't get any headlines to work, up to maybe like 3 to 5 different headlines, and I'm not talking about slightly different headlines either. We're talking significant enough changes that they are providing significant data.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they're not working, we'll look at leads. If it, like, for example, one of the big ones that we're seeing with our clients right now, in the optimization phase, this is not a funnel that we made. It's one that's been brought to us because it's not working as well as it should be. Great promo page, great upsell one. They work like a charm. Average order value is somewhere around like 200, basically off promo upsell one. But upsell 2 and 3, so essentially cross sells, they do nothing. They just don't sell. They very rarely sell, and the reason why is because I don't want to give the game away, but say, for example, it's not, but we'll say, for example, it's weight loss. The first upsell, more of the same. Second upsell is like knee pain. And the third upsell will be like hemorrhoid cream. You know, it's just like, it's totally different things. And so what we're doing in that situation is basically aligning everything, making it consistent. If someone spends $200 telling you what they want to buy, sell them more of that.
Yeah, I see that a lot. It's funny how that works in the supplement space, right? Like if you go into the biz op, it's like, okay, automate, or, you know, you create an issue with the front end that you need to solve with the first upsell or the second upsell, right? But you go to like supplements and it's like, oh, you bought this one pill. Well, here's fucking 6 more. All right, we got to clear our factory. You want them? Discount. It's so funny. And then I think you know what's funny, Chris? I actually think we went through some of your offers before because we were researching the supplement space a bit in the past. And so when we were going through your stuff today, Clayton's like, dude, isn't this a fucking offer we were researching? And I don't remember, dude. I don't know how anybody remembers anything past like a week ago, but Clayton remembered. So we went through your shit and we saw, I think that's like exactly where we saw like these funnels too. We're like, look at this. They're just selling more of the same stuff. And then it's like, because we were going to try to get into the testosterone game. I think, and I still think it's a really good place to be. Funnily enough, a lot of testosterone offers just popped up since we were researching it. But I still think it's like a really good place. It's an underserved market, especially for the demand that's coming. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get all conspiracy theory, right? You know, plastics in the water. Who knows? Testosterone's going down, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm actually curious about something, Chris. So, you know, you probably work with a lot of clients, and Clayton and I were having a conversation. Maybe it was yesterday, but we were discussing like nobody ever thinks it's their offer, right? They're always like, man, if I could just get the right ad, or if I could get the right targeting. Nobody ever thinks it's their fucking, like, dude, maybe it's your offer that sucks, right? So do you ever have that happen where someone brings something to you and you just can't get it to work and you're like, dude, it's the offer. Like, what do you do, you know?
Yeah, those are very, very awkward questions. I like to be, I like to be the author, what is it? The lawyer that only ever takes on cases they know they'll win, so their win rate's like 100% or 99.9% or whatever. I like to do that, and so yeah, those conversations you have where someone's brought to you a funnel it ran like 8 years ago and it killed it, and they have so much emotional investment in it, and it's like incredible, and it's their baby, and it made, you know, it bought their house or whatever, and they want you to fix it, and the answer is like, you can't. Like, it's done. It's just it's dead. It's served its purpose. It's like a, you know, it's been a loyal dog kind of thing, and now it's time to put it to rest. As crude as that is, and now I'm thinking about my dog dying.
No, dude, it's not a dog, all right? Everybody, it's not a dog. It's
yeah, so it's just like that, and so I guess the answer is, firstly, I'll try not take them on, but if they come in the door, we just always, we operate with like set boundaries. I think you can have a very good relationship with anyone, but you need to have you know, the terms very clearly laid out so things don't get messy. And so what we say is, we'll set a minimum amount of royalty, and we have to, if we don't hit that 3 months in a row that we're receiving from this offer, and we'll like give everything for those 3 months, then either party can say, hey, this isn't going to work. It's over.
Yeah. Do you ever try to fix offers? So, you know, for instance, I had an offer in 2020 that wasn't doing very well, and you know, it worked fine internally, right, to our email list and stuff like that. Which, okay, if you can't sell to your own email list, like, oh, shit, it's really suck, right? Like, but we couldn't get to work on cold traffic. However, I did a lot of digging and researching, and I kind of got to the root of why it wasn't working on cold traffic, right? There's just like this one core objection that people were having, which I guess, just to be transparent with everyone, is it was a print-on-demand offer. So e-commerce biz op, print-on-demand is when you're printing shit on t-shirts, hats, you know, tumblers, mugs, you know, stuff like this, whatever. This is like a print-on-demand mug for World of Warcraft. Now, the reason it wasn't doing well, right, was because people didn't want to hire a designer, and they thought they were not creative enough to come up with designs on their own. So what I did was I was like, oh, that's the issue? Wow, I'll fix it. So I created a software that allows people to, you know, build out designs without needing to hire a designer, pay a designer, or learn Photoshop. And it also comes with templates of designs that have already made a lot of money. So, I mean, do you ever do things like that? Are you ever, you know, like talking to offer owners, or do you have a process where you're like, okay, well, here's a way we can actually make this offer work?
Yeah, I'm super curious about this. I mean, because this is like half of my question too. Is man, I want to understand, like, what is the research process? Because like half of what I see in the copy is like just understanding the customer and being extremely creative, and like what are their actual problems, and then addressing those in the copy. So what is that research process that you have? Sorry to piggyback on your question, bro.
Yeah, well, fuck you. You're stealing my question.
Yeah, no, we'll start with the research and then get to kind of identifying almost like the blown fuses that if you switch out, everything, the power comes back on. The research, yeah, you just want to go super deep, and the places you go for that, particularly with problem-based markets, but also more so now aspirational type markets, is it's just anywhere people congregate, anywhere people are social. Like we're getting into the golf market, and I've taken up golf, and I'm going to the golf club, and I'm talking to those people. Obviously, it's a new hobby, and I'm enjoying it. So I wouldn't do that with cosmetic makeup, for example. Like that's not my style, it's not my scene. But you go to those places, whether it's online or in person, where people congregate and people share their thing. That's particularly hard in male markets, masculine markets, especially older dudes. Like they don't share anything. Sharing is weakness. It's awful. It's they're tough markets to crack, and you've got to be creative. And things like obviously everyone knows about Reddit and Amazon, and I think those are oversaturated now, and particularly Amazon with fake reviews. But you got to get creative. Where are people talking? Like it's in the comments of tabloid articles online. Someone like I've done a male hair loss offer. One of my best proof points in that entire promo is something I pulled from a comment inside an article, kind of thing. And people don't think to look there. And honestly, that's why it's hard to write copy, because you have to do this legwork. You have to spend a lot of time researching. That's why some business owners are fantastic copywriters, because they were their market, or they are their market, and they know it inside out. And other business owners aren't great copywriters for their market because they don't have the time. Like they've got a million other things to do. So through that research process, generally you'll get to know the market. And for example, I've done a lot of copy chiefing and mentoring at my time, and one of the promos that I chiefed was for a acne product, but it's an acne product going to being sent to lists, which are older markets. And generally those markets aren't people that are suffering from acne, right? Yeah, they're not sweaty teenagers. Yeah, they're not in that stage of their life anymore. But that was the only traffic source we had available to us. So the story wasn't about a first person story about, I'm 55 and I've still got really bad acne and I had to solve it. The story is the relationship with a daughter who's suffering from acne, and how that relationship is kind of shattering because the daughter is like so wrapped up in this horror show that's going on. So that's where I'd start. It's really hard as well for a lot of people to take a step back from what they're seeing on the screen in front of them, right? Like you see copy on the screen, you're analyzing that copy, but you're not thinking strategically. Like, is it copy to the right audience? Are we talking to the right people? Are we using the right language? You're just looking at like, oh, that headline could look a bit better this way. You got to take that step back.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Dude, do you have any more questions about the offer part? Because I have some other.
I guess. Well, I am curious about offer like structure, right? So, when we discuss offers, I think this is where if you talk to a lot of more, I guess, I don't know the correct word, novice internet marketers or just marketers in general, right? You ask them about what their offer is, and they're like, oh, it's my product. It's the name of my product, right? So it's like, fastlaneprofits.com. That's my offer. Right. But, as offer owners ourselves and copywriters, all that, we know it's a bit more than that. So like when you're working with people, do you have a checklist or something that you're trying to guide them through? Right. So I have personally, I have 8 things that go into a good offer. I'm like, okay, for something to be a good offer, it needs to have all these things, like clearly defined outcome, unique mechanism, good pricing, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say them all because I don't want you to steal my answer. You got to do your own answer. But yeah, so is there what makes a compelling offer to you? I'm curious. Is it just a product that works? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, man. So this is quite an interesting thing, because I've recently kind of been testing the waters with a minimum viable product in basically finding your next big offer. Just as because we're quite a high-end agency, it gives people a lower ticket way to interact with us and build that trust and whatever in there. But there's a bunch which is internalized, right? It's stuff that it's like you've got it yourself, that it's just become fundamental to you. You just get it. Does the market want it? Kind of the obvious stuff. Where I like to take this is the more kind of inconsidered, don't know which word is right there, approach of like what I like to find offers, for example, which are so obvious that they've never been done, kind of thing. Like when you say it, when you're saying, well, like when you're developing that offer, people's reaction is, oh, like damn, like they wish they thought of that.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard place to be as well. And again, it comes down to knowing the market there. But that's one. It's how offers, I think, as well, when they're done with personality brands, they don't necessarily need to be a brand new, unique offer. It just needs to be a different offer from what they've offered before, but with their personal take on it. They're always quite interesting to do. A lot of times brands shy away from that stuff. Sometimes they don't, because it's like, oh, it's working for other people, we should definitely do it. But sometimes it's like, we want to be in our own niche. But when you've got a strong personality behind it, it counts as something. And then what else is there? I've got this all, I do have this all down in a checklist, but it's just not in my brain right now.
No, those are good answers. I like that a lot. Can you give an example of the first thing you mentioned was like a no-brainer, like, oh, like, no, like it's obvious, like, man, why didn't I think of that? Do you have an example of an offer that's like that, you know?
I'll tell you my my sub story, or my one regret. I was retained at Money Map Press for a long time. Well, 18 months, not too long. And there, you know, the financial publishing game is really about throwing out new offers all the time, not necessarily brand new services, but sometimes, you know, new offers within those services, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And the one I really loved was SPACs, which are special acquisition companies or something like that. Special purpose
acquisition companies?
That's the one, yeah. And so this was before they blew up, before anyone was talking about them, and I found them. And I really wanted to do that, because the one issue that you kind of have in financial is with the upsell one of more of the same. Essentially, you're promising them so much money on like a single stock promo on the front end that they could just take that money and buy the service again the next year. There's no reason for them to take more of the same, because like it just logically it doesn't make sense. So you try to really build them up and give them new things. And I wanted to give them SPACs, and you know, never did it. To me, that was one of those obvious ones, and to them, it's, you know, definitely an obvious thing now, because over the next 18 months after I left, you know, SPACs went crazy. That was the hot thing to get in on. So they were definitely kicking themselves properly. No, I've spoken to them after. But yeah, that's one that got away from me.
Man, you guys are too smart. I'm like, what the? I have no idea what you guys are talking
Dude,
about.
You've never heard of a special purpose acquisition company? Wow,
I
you're
Googled
so
it
behind the
now.
times.
I Googled it, and I started reading, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Well, and then I realized I wasn't listening to Chris.
I know everything about it. Just don't ask me to explain it, because you know.
Dude, I want to do something that I've never like tried doing before, because I don't really actually talk to like a lot of copywriters, other than the guys that work at my company. I'm kind of curious, Chris, like what is some of the crazy shit you've seen? And I want to share something with you that it's probably not too crazy, but there's probably a lot of people doing this in the health space. I thought this was so funny. So there's this website, it's either Hims or Keeps, I can't remember, but they help you keep hair, you know, so that's their offer. It's like reverse hair loss or increase hair growth or whatever. And one of the side effects of their product is it causes erectile dysfunction. So they're like, upsell number one, Viagra. I'm like, dude, this is so genius. It's like they found a way to turn an objection, right, and turn it into more money, because people are going to buy the product anyways, because they're like, oh man, my dick might not work, but I'm not getting laid anyways because I don't have any fucking hair. So I'm going to buy it anyways. And then, oh shit, they got Viagra too. Fuck. Add to cart, baby. Let's go. One click upsell. Oh wait, I can get 15 Viagra now. You guys are clearing out your warehouse. Hell yeah, I'll take 15.
It's like you created a need, you caused a problem, and then sold them the solution.
Yeah, but I'm just curious, like, are there any cool things like that you've seen, or you're like out, or even outrageous? I'm just like, any cool weird things that you've seen out there in the direct response space where you saw it and you're like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, has that ever happened?
Oh God, yeah, there's some stories that I definitely won't be able to do justice to, but the one that comes to mind straight away is is actually internal at your conversion partners. And obviously this never went to the client because I caught it. But we're doing like a weight loss mechanism, talking about that. And it's to do with, you know, a certain signal. I can't remember the specific science right now, but it's to do with a signal that basically tells your fat cells to secrete the fat and get it out of you. And it's like, it was going really well, really nice. And absolutely, you know, not having a go at the copywriter on this. I love her. She's great. And this is part of the collaboration that we have going on. But it took a very quick turn from, hey, yeah, your cells are like getting rid of the fat cells, thanks to the skinny signal, into talking about you going to the toilet and pooping all of that fat out, and like in detail, like you'll be going 3 times a day, it'll be great. And every time you take a dump, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be, you're pooping out fat cells and you're getting thinner every time you sit in the loo. And I just couldn't let it go out, you know. Scientifically, it was absolutely true what this person had written, but no, that was just, yeah, talking about shit is probably not the way to go, especially with a client.
Dude, that's so funny. And it's hilarious. I'm just thinking like, well, hey guys, just in case this product doesn't actually work out for this angle, let's just sell it as a laxative.
Oh yeah, man. For the people who actually do have problem pooping, they'll read about it all day, you know, right? Yeah. Like everything is boring until it's an actual real problem in your life. You know what I mean? I wouldn't read an article about getting red wine out of carpet until I have red wine on my friend's carpet that I just spilled, and then it becomes the most interesting shit in the world, right? So
yeah, that's it. It's like, you know, the doom and gloomers on saying that long form copy is going to be dead and all that stuff. I just never buy it, because ultimately, like you read a lot about what you care about, and yeah, you don't care about, I don't know, financial newsletters right now or whatever, but like when you're 63 and a few years away from retirement and like going, oh shit, I haven't got enough money in the bank, you're definitely going to be interested in that stuff.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'm so sick of people who do that stuff. Like, oh, email's dead. SMS is dead. Copy's dead. Robot copywriters are taking over. Fuck you. Shut up. No one cares. Like,
but it is a good angle, man. You have to always say, like, you know, you have to always shock and awe to get attention, you know?
It's like,
and we can use that, dude.
But it's the most ingenuine thing ever. That's the issue, right?
Well,
it's like, I don't, how am I going to buy more shit from a person, right? The whole goal of a direct response company is to have the highest CLTV possible, right? We want to get big AOVs, and then we want to get even bigger CLTV, right? And if the way someone sells me is by lying to me about that something is dead, I mean, there's just not trust there for me, right? So I don't know, like.
Yeah, but you're not most people, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
So
I'll take that as a compliment.
That's very nice. Wow.
And you must, like, for the majority of people, I mean, anybody really, I mean, you have to get people's attention, right? That's just like our whole marketing theory, is that before anything happens, you must get their attention. So how are you going to get their attention? You know, talking, like, I mean, a lot of like health offers I've seen, they start with a very compelling, bad story, you know, like a horror story of sorts. Like, I think I was reading one was like, dude,
they all start off. They're all like,
I was in like in an ambulance, or I fell off a treadmill and my heart was pounding, or like, I think I saw one of yours that was like super. Like, I actually started reading it, even though I'm absolutely not the target market. It was like the hair one. It was like a mother at her daughter's wedding, and her hair was falling out, and her daughter was screaming, like, "You ruined my wedding," or something like that.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, no, that's
dude,
a great one.
You put them right into that horror story. You capture their attention, you know, right?
Yeah, you got to do it. And you know, there's definitely, just a quick point, one thing that isn't considered too much is the audio. Basically, like, we could understand, particularly on video, obviously doesn't apply with text, that the audio counts for something, you know. And just watch your like next horror film or anything, and just listen to hear what's going on. Even just silence can be used in the right way, can really ramp up that tension, that intrigue, and kind of get you leaning forward in your chair.
Yeah, I get it in music too, you know, like in rap songs now, they're always putting, well, they've been doing this for a while, but they put the sirens in the rap song, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
Driving, I'm like,
the gunshot.
Is that me? Yeah. Oh, I swear to God, she said she was. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I'm curious. So, we're kind of in a strange point in the world right now. We had like a bull market the last like 10, 12 years. And, everyone's really like, I mean, there's a lot of anxiety right now about, the world's economy, especially US. We're post-pandemic, but like there's a lot of division. There's a lot of things that are kind of setting up. I mean, crypto is crashing right now. Voyager going bankruptcy, Celsius bankruptcy. So there's a lot of changes in the market. I'm curious, what are you seeing in terms of like how is economy affecting your offers? Like what are you seeing, or what are you preparing for? Are you thinking about any of that kind of stuff, or just kind of doing what you always do, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, right. Well, so I've been in business 9 years or whatever now. I'm 28 now. Roughly around 18, 19 is when I got into this game, and so I haven't experienced like a economic crash. Right, 2008 was a few years just prior to me getting into this, and at first I was a little bit. You kind of buy into the talk, right? The mainstream thought of like something's coming and everyone needs to prepare and all this stuff. But the more I think about it, the more kind of not happy, because obviously people are going to be in pain, but like I see it as a good thing for what we do, right? Because it kicks the people that aren't doing it right generally get kicked out of the market, whether that's offers or like my competition in terms of copywriters or whatever. With the offers that we're working on right now, with nothing's changing right now. I haven't seen any significance there. I think, when people have needs and like problems, needs stemming from problems, I think they are the last thing to go. And obviously, we'll see some ripples soon enough, I'm sure. But I think for the most part, it's just about riding it out a little bit. When it comes to financial, that's where it really makes a bit of a mess, because right now we haven't got a crash at the time of recording. We haven't got, I mean, stocks have come down for sure, but like the doom and gloom and like, Armageddon type language, people aren't seeing it in the day-to-day life. They're living their lives still. It's not like blood in the streets kind of thing. And that has caused, in my opinion, a lot of uncertainty. And so in financial markets, no one's buying anything right now. And that's because of uncertainty. In financial, when things are going good, obviously they're buying newsletters. They want to get the next hot stock tip, next crypto, whatever. When things are going bad and like plummeting, they're buying crash promos because they want to protect their assets. They want to be positioned for when the market rebounds, because the market always rebounds. But this uncertainty is really like dried up the financial, both in sales and for my copywriting business. But one thing I will say is like with my copywriting business, like we've just signed a fair few deals in the last like week or two, where I don't know what it is, something's in the air, but I think smart marketers and smart business owners are like, this is the time to invest in marketing, because you're going to be like one of a handful left if things go really south.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, like, dude, like I think everyone right now should do everything they can to strengthen their marketing, because we don't know what's going to happen. And to be honest, like it might not be worse. It might be better for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, dude, think about like coronavirus. When coronavirus hit, you'd be like, oh man, the world's economy is going to get wiped out. And actually what happened was we had the biggest rise in stocks in like 30 years. You know what I mean? So you don't know what it's kind of fake as well because of, all the money printing, but you don't actually know what's going to happen. And actually we're big believers in the obstacle is the way. Like every potentially bad situation can actually create a great opportunity, and it's a great mentality to have. I'm looking around and determining like, dude, if things keep going great, then fucking awesome. But if things go bad, then there'll probably be businesses I can buy. There'll probably be real estate that I can buy. There'll probably be businesses that were competitors that were, I don't know, they had too big of egos and weren't trying very hard, and that maybe go out of business or something. You know what I mean? So I'm a big believer in that.
Well, right. It's all that frame of mind, right? It's either I'm in control of my life, I'm in control of my situation, or things happen to me, right? There's two ways to look at it. It's like, hey, by the way, Chris, do you have a copy of The Obstacle is the Way right by you? It looked like you looked at your copy when Clayton said it.
No, yeah, it's always here, but I took it downstairs recently and didn't bring it back up. I love it.
What's up? Yeah.
Saw that. But it's like, right, I think that these opportunities are just so great for most markets, you know, some might not do as well. And I'm not sure, like you would know more about this than I would. Cause I'm specifically like in the biz op space. Really, I've been in there like 12 years, but you know, I wonder if things like weight loss or things that aren't necessarily first thing of mind during a recession or something, I wonder how they'll do, right? But the reality of it is, you know, and this is outside copywriting, just as us, this is for business owners, offer owners, entrepreneurs, whatever. We have to realize that there's two states of mind we can be in. I make shit happen or shit happens to me, right? And if you're in that shit happens to me thing, you're fucked when recession comes, okay? Because you're gonna just like, oh no, things are out of my control. It's the economy's fault. It's Biden's fault. Fucking Biden, right? Like obviously Biden's an evil man, you know, he sniffs kids. I can't change that. But what I can do is focus on the things that I can control, right? And it's just so smart. It's, I guess not smart, but it's so imperative that we as business owners recognize that, right? We make shit happen. If we want change in the world, if we want to be successful, we fucking go out there and we do it. We don't let shit happen, right? So, like, fuck a recession,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's not. I would say it's not just even your own. If your own mindset, like it's also the people around you. If you like, people don't realize just how much agency they have in this world. Particularly where I am in the UK, like we don't have I would say America's a lot more entrepreneurial than the UK. The UK has obviously got its bright spots too, but it's less ingrained over here for sure. And so, and it's one of my pet peeves, and one of the things I plan to do in the future is basically teach like entrepreneurship at schools and set up programs like that, because having that mindset for everyone around you it's going to create that butterfly effect, which strengthens your network. At the end of the day, it's kind of the people who realize how much control they have that will generate the economic recovery, etc. Like it's just going to benefit everyone.
Dude, yeah. Please do that. I mean, like, I think we're in a scary time right now where becoming a victim is actually like kind of almost praised. It's cool. in society. Like it's raised up, you know, when something is you know, happening to you and it's unjust, like the talking about just that is praised. Now, I'm not saying that issues should not be brought to light. I think issues should be brought to light, but there's a difference between the focus on a complaint and also like we're going towards a solution. And you know, I think that entrepreneurship is one of the best personal development worlds, because you find yourself in a lot of situations where you have problems and you cannot deflect the blame. It's your business. You have to solve them, right? Yeah. So you trained your brain to become creative. And if we can, you know, instill this mindset, I think we make a lot of progress, you know, because you have to figure out a solution one way or another.
Yeah, no, it massively, it challenges you in so many different ways, and in ways that can't be taught at school or in like structured environments. You need that kind of chaos that's out there. And you realize that it's like Jocko Willink, right? Extreme ownership. You have to take ownership over every little facet of detail. It doesn't mean like control and giving yourself so much time there, but when things go wrong and you're the CEO of your company or responsible for a department or whatever, like that's on you. A good example recently, it was a chap I hired, and he, you know, great guy and said all the right things, and just couldn't reach the mark he needed to get to, not in terms of copy, but in terms of the little things like communicating, delivering work on time, following instruction, that kind of thing. And I gave him way too many chances, and that, you know, to the detriment of the business, to the detriment of myself, and that I could blame him for it, you know, not being able to do the simple stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not his fault. It's me for, you know, allowing that situation to go on so long.
Yeah, man, I love that. It's like taking 100% responsibility. I mean, it's a hard thing to do sometimes because it feels kind of bad, but ultimately I think it leads you to greater heights. Yeah. And dude, this is great transition, man, because look, on the Rowdy Boys, what we do is we're big believers in you have to have both sides of the equation. You have to have the skills to pay the bills, and then you also, on the other side, you got to have you know, the personal development to do it, because one without the other, you could have all the skills but no personal development. You don't have the relationships. You actually can't achieve stuff. Or you could have great personal development, no skills, and you just be like a monk in the woods, all zenned out and still no money. So, so we like to talk about both. So, I mean, we talk a lot about copywriting here. I'm curious for you. You know, you mentioned something earlier that you talked about, like putting yourself in situations where you grow. Like, I know you've had like you talked about having like a hard decision that you had to make. Like you left a bunch of money on the table or something to put yourself in this growth situation. Can you explain what that is or talk about that?
Oh my gosh, we talked about so many. Let's double check my message. Yeah. So So in there, I was talking about essentially a retainer I was on that was very comfortable, paid my immediate living needs and then some, super comfortable, and you know, why would you drop it, kind of thing. And there was a performance aspect as well. And COVID hit, and I think like a lot of people, it just made me reevaluate what was happening with my life and what I was thinking. And I realized that I was being very safe, basically, that I was playing it safe, that the money was nice, but it wasn't going to take me anywhere. It wasn't going to grow. I wasn't developing. It was too comfortable. There was no risk. It was just like, I mean, it's what people want, right? It's like risk-free lottery money that comes in every month. People buy tickets every week for that kind of result with the lottery, but wasn't good. You know, wasn't helping me develop, wasn't helping me progress. And I realized, I remember, like, it's funny how you remember these things, but I was sitting there in my garden on like on the step in the sun, lovely like British summer day, which you can't beat. And I was talking to my partner. I was just saying, you know, it's like killing my soul, basically. It's like not killing, it might be dramatic, but eating my soul up, right? Like I'm just losing that fire in me, and I could feel it like dwindling by the day. And I had to give that. In that moment, I knew I had to quit, cut it loose, and basically go it alone again into the wilderness, where no guarantee of getting paid. You know, no guarantee that anyone wants to work with me again. All the no safety, no like comfort in your mentality as well, because you know there's no stresses when you're getting paid that much. To show up and do what you do, kind of thing. Like the stresses are hit a deadline, which is kind of baked into what I do. All that stuff. I just knew I had to get out there and grow for it, and I'm so glad I did. Admittedly, it's not like my expenses were huge. I haven't got a family just yet, but you know, I still have bills to pay, and I still have places I want to go. And we were looking to buy a house at the time. This old place that we got now, and so thank you. And just knew I had to get out of there, and I did. You know, and very quickly, and that's when I went into offer ownership, and really to kind of like pull by the horns and threw myself in and exposed myself as much as you can, really. Offer ownership, you know, it's a different beast. It's like your money's on the line. You're not just, it's not like you're getting paid by a client and then it bombs and it's like, oh, I still got my fee, kind of thing. A typical model, copywriting model would operate under. It is like, hey, I'm going to put however much money into this thing, and if it doesn't work, I don't get my money back. There's no one like coming to rescue me at the end of the day. And you know, that was fantastic. Super growth again. Not just in copywriting, but in the more holistic areas as well. All the things that fit into being a business owner and what you should be trying to, you know, partner, as an advocate to clients, what you should kind of bring to the table, like negotiating with suppliers, knowing which suppliers are good, like split testing software, like, you know, all the millions of things that you need to know. And I wouldn't have learned any of that. I wouldn't, you know, that skill set, for example, on negotiating with suppliers, I've since used that with a client to get their COGS down, I think by like 47%.
Damn.
So I was like coaching him through the process. Obviously I wasn't talking on his behalf because that just wouldn't have worked with the supplier, but I was like coaching him through that process. And even when he thought he had a good deal, I was like, hey, no, push again, and you'll get it. And they got it. And so it's gone from like COGS, which would be very hard to scale on, to COGS, which are cost of goods sold, to, you know, super scalable, really, really good COGS. And I wouldn't have got any of that if I stayed, you know, on the teat.
Dude, that's amazing. I mean, I guess you could say the obstacle became the way at that point, huh?
Oh yes.
Well, no, I mean, dude, so much respect for that, right? Like getting uncomfortable, that's the only way we can grow as people, right? Making those uncomfortable decisions. If we lived in comfort our entire lives, I mean, is that even a life worth living? You can say like, yeah, it was nice, but I didn't achieve all that I could. You know, I didn't test myself. I didn't challenge myself. There's a quote, I gotta Google it real quick. Like, and this one always stood out to me. It's like Aristotle or something.
Is it Clayton is an amazing looking guy with ripped abs, and
It's something like that.
it's Aristotle.
I don't know about that. Okay,
I think
yeah,
they were writing that on the wall as cavemen.
Yeah,
it's Socrates here. But no man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. And you could translate that into many things, right? But if, oh my God, I look so short right now. My Lord, my hair. If we, right, like if, what a shame it is if we don't see all that it is that we could accomplish in our life, right? So if we sit on the sidelines and don't go after those uncomfortable things, then it's like, I mean, what was
yeah. And then it's infuriating to see people that you love do that as well. Because it's like you get into this world and you develop your mindset and getting after it. And don't get me wrong, there's levels to getting after it, and I haven't reached the pinnacle there yet. But you break through a certain level, and it's like you're like your life, and you look at the people that you love and care about, and you want the best for them, and you go, your life could be so much better if you just like had a bit of like get up and go, just initiative. And yeah, it's sad seeing how people that have so much potential just not dwindle, but they don't go anywhere. They just slide through.
But dude, at the same time, I can identify with that because I mean, like all the hard times, are those situations you find yourself in when you're like, should I go for this thing or should I not? That is a difficult moment to make a decision because you're saying like, I am comfortable now, but if I go to do this thing, I will be uncomfortable to do it. I mean, even for successful people, like I've seen successful people do this, where they're successful. And if they were to try something that's a little bit different, like their identity as a successful person might be challenged or they might fail on that new thing. So they end up not doing that because they want to continue that identity of a successful person. So I can definitely empathize with that. But that is like the great question, like one of the deep questions that everyone has to answer, which is, dude, are you enough? Are you enough to go talk to the girl? Are you enough to be worthy of starting the new business? Are you going to be able to figure like that is like the deep question. And the self-actualization of you is based upon what your answer to that is. And the good thing is you can answer yourself. No one else can tell you. Are you good? Are you enough? Well, I decided I am, and then therefore you end up becoming enough.
I think a lot of where that stems from as well is like, Tony Robbins talks about, I think he uses like a stalwart as an example for the beliefs you have and how you need to like break the legs of the individual beliefs or whatever. I'm absolutely butchering that. I'm not your guru. There's another little reference. But it stems from like the core beliefs you have in yourself, and those beliefs, they really need to be fundamental. So an example here is basically if I'm writing copy in a niche or niche, however you say it, that I haven't written in before, or if it's a different type of, say, financial promo or whatever, where is my belief? Is my belief that I can write a tech promo, a tech investing promo, or is it that I can write a financial promo, or is it that I can write promos? I basically have developed a headspace, a mindset, but I trust myself to figure out any creative challenge in direct response, even if it's something I haven't done before, even if it's outside of my, my comfort zone, because I've developed the skills and systems and routines and thinking patterns that allow me to go into any market, get intimately familiar with it, and then operate on those on what I know. And so that all stems from that like fundamental belief that I'm going to be able to figure out anything that's put in front of me. It's, I can go anywhere because it's not just coffee. It's like any problem I have personally, whether it's, fitness and health, my car, whatever. If something happens, I'm going to be able to fix it. I'm going to be able to sort it out because fundamentally I see myself as a problem solver.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's perfect because if you can understand the frameworks behind it, it will allow you to go into any market. And a lot of markets, what they have problems with is they're too deep in the market. They have their own language and they can't talk to the actual customers.
Can't see it.
And so having that outside perspective, but not just outside perspective, the outside perspective with the ability to deconstruct the market and have your research process to get into the mind, it's like a perfect combo. We got a few minutes left, dude. I want to ask, like, who would be a perfect client for you?
Yeah, so the perfect clients are basically the scrappy entrepreneurs, right? And so, but typically that looks like 7 and 8 figure companies. Sometimes it's 9-figure companies as well. But generally, people that have their operations dialed in and that they can plug our copywriting and marketing skills into their business easily. They can test stuff easily. They can share data easily, and just let us thrive in our little like circle, our zone of excellence, which is basically copywriting offer creation. So
sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the group. And so that looks like, it can be individual marketers that are doing $20 million a year. It can be 10-person teams that are doing $7 million a year kind of thing. It doesn't really matter what it looks like, but there has to be the mentality. The size is obviously important because when we put stuff out into the world, we expect to make money on the royalty from, us getting paid by your success. But the main thing is like cultural thing. Are they scrappy? Do they want to try new things? Do they want to just get copy out the door as quickly as possible? Or are they going to sit on something and be like bureaucratic and corporate?
And the main thing that you would produce, would you say you typically write sales letters, or what is the thing that you mostly focus on?
So what we tend to do is write basically long form direct response, sales letters, video scripts, all the way through to the last upsell. So we'll do everything in there, which might include email swipes for upsells, downsells, exit pop copy, checkout pages, even abandoned carts, email campaigns. Like we do kind of all that stuff. Bread and butter is really on, hey, can we not necessarily launch you a new offer, although we definitely do that, but also can we rewrite the offer that you've got going now? Anything that puts like an offer out into the world and everything involved in that ecosystem.
Right on.
It's sick, man. Well, Chris, if people wanted to find out more about you, do you have like an opt-in or a place you want to send people right now? And if it's a website, we'll pop it up on the screen or whatever, editing, but what's up? Where can the people find you?
Yeah, so yourconversion.partners is the easiest place to find me, or just send me an email, chris@yourconversion.partners.
Hell yeah, easy
That was
enough.
sick, dude.
All right, Chris, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it greatly. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and just hang out, honestly. Sorry for all the shit that Clayton and I put you through the 5 minutes before we started. We live boring lives, so here we are.
No, it's all good. It's been a pleasure to be here. And it's been great.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, hopefully we can send lots of people your way. If not, guys, Chris is the fucking man. All right. If you need someone to help you take your offer to the next level, if you're doing 7, 8 figures or 9 figures and you just want someone on your side to help you improve that, someone you can rely on, someone you can count on who knows their shit, well, I think that's Chris. But for those of you guys still listening, all right, I have a question. If you haven't, whoa, holy shit, bro, what are you doing? Whoa,
I was prepared.
If you haven't yet liked, commented, and subscribed,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you fucking doing, guys? If you are on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you subscribe and leave a review. And if you're on Spotify, which now has videos for our podcast, thanks Spotify, very cool. Make sure that you subscribe. I don't know if they've enabled reviews yet, whatever. But
One day, baby.
Guys, thank you for listening to the Rowdy Boys podcast. Chris, thank you for being such an awesome guest and coming on. We really appreciate it. Everyone else out there, we'll catch you on the next episode.
See ya.